Hey everyone. Hey Aman, how you doing? I saw your question a little bit earlier. I answered it, so thanks for stopping by the live stream. No, thank you. Thanks for the kind comment. I'm glad, I'm shooting with these videos for people to find them useful. Like if you actually like them, it's I don't know, it's a bonus for me. Yeah, no, I do remember you from I saw your comment. And I answered it this morning. So but gonna be doing a little bit of soldering today, answering some questions, and yeah, maybe hopefully getting to play around with this little guy, which is a depth tracking camera, and I'll talk a little bit about it later. So Aman, you run a makerspace in India, nice. My Indian fans, I know only one other person from India, that's Techie SMS. Who does YouTube, and I don't necessarily think he's a fan, but he has a great channel. But if there are any other, there's you, there's Techie SMS, and there's anybody else out there, yeah, welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you enjoy the videos, and yeah, if you don't, let me know the kind of things I can do to improve. So welcome to the Acrobatic YouTube channel, and thanks for watching all the way over from India. This is someone from India who I talked to, has a great YouTube channel, so does similar stuff with the ESP boards and electronics, so something worth checking out. What kind of projects do you guys do over at that makerspace, Annan? Uh, I don't think the videos would go anywhere if it wasn't for viewers like yourself, so I should be the one thanking you, so yeah. I'll continue making them. It's a lot of fun for me. It gives me an excuse to play around with the electronics and try to make that content useful in a way. So yeah, I plan on keep doing it. Yeah, by all means, keep the questions coming. I'm sorry if sometimes it takes me a little bit to answer them, but as you can imagine, between selling the electronics and doing the whole YouTube thing, it takes me a while to get around to everything. But I answer, as you've seen, every single comment that's posted on the channel. So thank you for posting those questions. So hi Utkarsh, how are you? Do I think if the ESP boards can be used in production? Big fan from India, another fan from India. Hey, welcome. Let me see, before I answer your question, what time is it in India? So time in, for example, I don't know what city you're in, but man, you guys are night owls. If it's 2, 3, 4 in the morning, I appreciate you being here. Actually, like the last live stream I did was at 3 a.m. my local time. I'm here in the west coast of the United States. I'm in the Los Angeles area, and yeah, I'm also a night owl, so it's kind of rare for me to do it in the middle of the afternoon. Right now, it's 2:45 p.m. for me, and I usually do it at 3 a.m. here. So, but I'm trying different times just to reach out to as many people as possible. So glad you guys are stopping by despite it being the middle of the night. But ESP boards in production, I'm of two minds. Yes, they can, but when you make a commercial product, it requires a certain quality of the hardware. And by quality, I don't, the ESPs are great, but if something goes wrong, it's very hard to get the technical support that you need for a professional application. So, in that sense, other products like something from, uh, you know, companies with a bigger name might give you that reliability of knowing that you can do technical support. But there's some, for example, there's some Android tablets that have the ESP chips in them and they work well. They're sold everywhere. So I know people do put them in production, but yeah, it's something that you need to be aware of. The technical support side, if something goes wrong, then you're a little bit on your own in that regard. So yeah. Nice. So it's Kuno, part of your makerspace, Anand. Is that what's going on? Nice. I'm glad you guys know each other. But welcome to both of you, or three of you, all the way from India. Little product placement. I don't know about product placement, but a little bit of branding. Alright. Trying to handle the music a little bit better. Downloaded a bunch of songs from YouTube, the ones they allow you to use. And this one, it's a little too much for me. So I'm gonna try to find it. Saint Anne. Alright, this one is out of the playlist. What? Alright, delete from library. There, play something else. Um, Thanks so much for the feedback. This is only my fourth live stream, so yeah, anything I can do to improve the quality, let me know. I'll try increasing the gain on the mic, particularly if I'm going to my workbench to do the soldering. Let me see. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Then I'll lower the music a little bit as well. Let's see. Aman, is this a little better for the audio levels? Let me know. And if it's the music that is too loud, also let me know. I'm happy to just turn it off completely. I just don't want you to hear my fans going full blast. So, hey Ali, how are you, man? Glad that I can do the streams in a time that it's almost always convenient for you to jump on. I see. So you're having some troubles with the ESP32? Uh-oh. Now it's good. Awesome. Thanks for the feedback, Ammon. And then, yeah, it'll probably get a little bit quieter when I go to my workbench to do the soldering. But by all means, just keep me posted if I can improve the quality. Everybody's having problems with the ESP. What's up with that? It's getting heated up. I see. It always gets warmed up just running Wi-Fi in such a small space. It's always, gives room for the silicon underneath getting warm and has to dissipate it somehow. But if it's too warm, like when you touch a transistor, for example, in this case, if you touch the ESP32, is it too hot for the touch or it's just warm? If it's warm, it's okay for the most part. If it's hot, that you touch it and you're like, yeah, that's a little too hot, then something is going on. You're drawing too much power. And depending on your application, what usually happens is that you might have something connected like LEDs to one of the pins, and they're being powered by the same power supply that's powering the ESP board. So in those cases, if you're doing, say, motor control, or if you're driving a bunch of LEDs, what you want to do is have a separate power supply. You connect the two grounds together, the ground from the power supply that's powering the ESP, and you connect that ground with the ground of a different power supply. But the positive, right, the positive of one power supply is just connected to the ESP, and the positive of the second power supply is powering up the whether it's a motor controller, LEDs. Those are the usual culprits, because if you're routing all that power through the ESP, and the transistors will get the voltage regulators on the board are gonna get pretty hot. Let's see, Ali. Master slave I2C communication in ESP32 is kind of buggy. I haven't had that problem. I'm not doing anything too exotic or too advanced with I2C communication. I'll always use the ESP as a master device and things like sensors as slaves. So I think in one of my last videos I was using this guy right here, which is an SHT31 temperature and humidity sensor. And yeah, no, I love I2C. I use it all the time. I use it as much as possible, because you can connect this and you can connect an OLED screen over I2C, and you only need 2 wires as opposed to SPI or another protocol. So I love me some I2C. I've never had any problems, but it's always the ESP acting as a master. And sensors like the SHT31 or something else acting as slaves. And I use Arduino pretty much all the time, and it's just a matter of including the wire library and taking the I2C communication from there. Oh yeah, so that's what I figured, that it wasn't something as simple as I2C master to an I2C slave device, because that works flawlessly. I haven't played around with communication between two boards over I2C. The one video I have on that, and I always refer to videos because that's the time I get to play around with the electronics. For the most part, I'm just handling the online shop that I run for electronics and doing the digital marketing, being on Twitter, Instagram, and stuff like that. The time that I have for myself to like play on projects is when I'm recording a video for YouTube. So the last time I did communication between, say, an Arduino and an ESP board, I use serial UART, and that works flawlessly, but I never tried the I2C communication between two microcontrollers or system on chip boards, so I haven't run into that problem. But what are you getting? Is it just unreliable? Like sometimes you just won't get data across? Or, because I know timing is a big thing for I2C, so making sure that those clocks are synchronized, it gets a little hairy. And if you have a logic analyzer, then that's the way you would debug it, by capturing each frame, like putting the logic analyzer on the data line and then obviously the clock line, and seeing all those bits coming in, right? I2C, it's a super low level communication protocol, so you really need to look at bits and bytes. So I know a lot of people, I don't have one myself since I don't have time to have that much fun like you're having, but the Saley logic analyzer, it's something that people swear by, that I've seen for doing this kind of debugging. So you connect it to any data communication line, and you just very easy. You can use an oscilloscope as well, but this device is made for extracting logic, when it's not just voltages that you're trying to measure like with an oscilloscope, but rather, and maybe this is trivial information for you, but for other viewers that might find it useful, this is a device that is able to tell you a little bit more than just raw voltages like an oscilloscope. If you have an I2C protocol, it's able to tell you what the frame looks like, and organizes your data a little bit better. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this guy for later. I have to do a project with this, and I'll release a video on my channel for how to get started with this and a Raspberry Pi. And that's roughly what I'm trying to set up today, but it's gonna take a while. I need to solder and order for a customer, which is what I have on my workbench that I'm showing right now. So I'll solder that up really quickly, and then I'll get started with messing around with a RealSense. So if you guys want to come back a little later, I'll be playing around with that and trying to set it up on a Raspberry Pi 4. So that's the plan for today. I'm pretty excited. I don't get time to play around with this kind of thing, but I'm doing a video for, I don't know if you've seen on the Raspberry Pi side of things. For the most part, Element 14, it's the actual company is called Newark, and this is an electronics distributor, right? They're part of a bigger company that sells all sorts of electronics. Are getting interested in our space, the maker spaces, the thinkers, people who use electronics for hobby. So they started this endeavor that they call the Element 14 community. They have a forum and they have a YouTube channel. So contacting makers like myself to make videos for them. So yeah, for example, I did this. This is the actual project. Come on. I don't know if any of you have seen their videos, but they're okay. They have high production quality because they're
Hello, I'm Clem.
Hey, I'm Caleb.
My name is Andy. Greetings.
they're recruiting makers who are also content creators who do a relatively good job about making engaging videos. So the company just outsources, Newark outsources through that element for Team Brand, outsources the video production to people who know what they're doing, right? Like it's different for a company to put together videos. We know what we do, we know what we like, makers. So I think they're doing the right thing. And anyway, with the Real Sense, like I brought this up is because with the Real Sense, I'm doing a project for them. So when that's posted, I'll be sure to share a link with you guys, see how you like it. But the last video I did for them is this one, and I'll mute it. Where something similar that I've done in my channel, I use a Raspberry Pi with a touch screen to display when the International Space Station that's passing above us, when it's very close to our locations. So it's kind of cool. The application, I don't know if I did a cool job with my video, but anyway, that's what I'll be working today for my next video. I'm going to be using the Intel RealSense. Yeah, it does look pretty damn cool, the RealSense. I'm pretty happy, and obviously they supply the parts, so it's a great deal to be able to play with nice exciting toys and not having to put that much money out of pocket. It's always nice. So me, I went to school for electrical engineering. I wanted to be a professor and do research in a university, and things didn't quite work out because during my PhD my advisor moved. It's a long story, but I decided to jump ship and start just a little company for selling electronics, and I've been doing that for about 7 years. And the biggest market out there is people who do this for a hobby. So I'm both a hobbyist and someone who has some formal training in electrical engineering. I didn't do the microelectronics in school, but I did a lot of robotics, was my main interest. So I did, out of all the things you can do in electrical engineering, like signal analysis, etc., I did controls and robotics. So I'm more of a high level, my programming is better than my microelectronics or microprocessor knowledge, all that signal analysis. Like I know the basics of it, but the core of my knowledge is in controls engineering. But on the weekends, I would always hobby tinker around when Arduinos came out, when Raspberry Pis came out. So it was not an easy transition to do this as a business. And now for YouTube, this is, I've been really trying to get into YouTube for about a year and a half, making videos, explaining tutorials, and interacting with people all around the world. It's kind of fascinating. So YouTube for me, it's a resource for doing that, right? I wanted to be a professor, and this is sort of a second opportunity at doing something like that. So that's why I really got into YouTube. And I started posting videos 4 years ago, but it was mostly for the business, and you see me in front of the camera explaining something, and yeah. But now I'm more of like a content creator, a YouTuber, or just having fun with it and engaging people around the world, and trying to make hopefully decent content that doesn't drive any of you crazy. Yeah, how about you, Ali? I know the question was for me, but are you also a professional in the electronics engineering side of things. I know Aman runs a makerspace over in India, but how about you, Ali? Share your story with us if you want. No pressure. What's the story behind the channel name Acrobatic? So, as I said, I'm an engineer, so I'm not like the creative type, business type of person. So I don't think it's a great name. um, I started this company in 2013, so you know it was not necessarily when things like the social media were super popular, but they were starting to get popular, and I wanted to secure a name. It didn't have to be acrobatic, um, but something related to robotics. And I wanted to secure it on every social media platform, so I tried many different things before acrobatic. And yeah, and then the last thing. So I'm an engineer, not necessarily creative, and I don't have like, that's the best you could get out of me. Then making sure that you had all the same name all over social media was pretty tricky. And also I was like juggling things. I just got out of my PhD. I took a leave of absence from my PhD. I was doing a little bit of consulting to pay the bills. I was my electronics engineer. I was building stuff for other people and getting paid that way while I was starting the company. So I was like juggling a lot of things. I don't know. So that kind of, as my own representation, I was a bit of an acrobat. People who do acrobatics, like jugglers or whatever. So it's like, well, you can kind of turn acrobat into acrobatic. And it's like, oh, it's available on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't want to do name search anymore. So that's a long-winded story of how the name acrobatic came to be. Yes, I am very much stuck in a lockdown. And how about you guys? People in India, it's still pretty strict, the lockdown rules, or is it starting to get a little more flexible? For me, it gave me an excuse to start streaming. I just started streaming. I did one or two long time ago, and it was such an endeavor. But now that I'm don't have anything, I would call it better. Not that you guys are very important, but say right now it's a Saturday, I'd probably be outside playing soccer, or you know going out with my dogs. But now that I'm stuck in the house, it's like what can I do? So then I invested a little bit of money. I made like a crazy streaming rig and see how it goes. And so far, this is the second stream I've done like seriously after getting a little bit of the equipment and having like the different cameras where I can transition, show you my workbench and stuff like that. And this is the second one, and I'm enjoying it so far. So I'm very much happy that with the extra time that I have, I've been able to put it to hopefully good use. And the hope is for all of you to enjoy it as well. I see volume still a little low. Sorry about that, Fogata. Yeah, trying to fix that. It's only my second stream, so I apologize. And by all means, give me feedback. I was getting a little bit blasted yesterday by a friend that they didn't like the music. So, let's see. Then, let's see. Hopefully this is a little bit better. I'm gonna crank it all the way up. Sorry if I'm blowing your ears out, but yeah. Yeah, thanks, Amin. That's the thing that I was saying when I started this company in 2013. Uh, it was a whole different game, right? There wasn't, I don't think even Twitch was around, or it was just getting started. So the whole, even YouTubers, right? They weren't what they are today. And now it's such a, everybody's making videos, really good videos. So the competition is pretty interesting. So I always tell myself if I want to get into something, I need to give it a good effort. So because this is your time. You could be there's so many other YouTubers, streamers. Like why would you spend that time like on something that I'm making, which I'm always grateful for, and it needs to have a certain quality. If you don't like what I say, how I speak, then very little I can do about that. But if it's something that that I can actively do something about, then yeah, it's something that I'm going to yeah. No, I've been always curious about the streaming side of content creation, and I just never had the time. And like I was saying, if I wanted to get into it, I really wanted to make sure that it was of, you know, I'm gonna judge myself, so it was of good quality to me. Not sure if this is good quality to you, but it's good quality to me. So, but I didn't have the time to put in to make sure that it would be of this level. So finally, thanks to the lockdown, I was able to, okay, this is my goal for the next 2 weeks, and here we are. So, oh, Ali, I'm still waiting on you, but it's okay. I'll I'll wait till next time to give you an opportunity to condense your thoughts. But my main question was, do you do electronics as well for a living? Yeah, no, I get you, Aman. I was, yeah, still getting the hang of making sure that as soon as you tune in, you don't go like whoa with the sound, but being loud enough that you can tune it down when if needed. Alrighty, gonna try to do a little bit of soldering on my bench and keep answering questions for whichever ones you have. I'm sorry, I should say these are just a little breakout board for an audio jack, and I found this really cool audio jacks that you can see all the components, blah blah, but it's just for a 3 millimeter uh, jack connection to an audio, some sort of audio input, and with this board you can break it out into each pin into either a block terminal, or you can even put it on a breadboard using this, pin header like this. It's a very simple board, but I saw that on my website and somebody bought a couple, so I'm putting together the order for them. then I usually have a, you know, I'll ship it with this 3-pin terminal block next to a 2-pin terminal block, but I ran out of the 2-pin terminal blocks, so gotta wait until they come in the mail. But I just want to get started with the order, and I'll just put this one in, and when the other one comes, then I'll finish out the board. See if you guys have any questions. I see, Ali. Thanks for answering. Sorry to put you on the spot. So you're doing electronics and programming. So you want to do IoT to AI? Nice. Nice, man. You have some pretty big, yeah, you're working on some very, very interesting stuff. So something that has always piqued my interest. Uh, but yeah, how do you? I don't know if what your specific focus is, but now that everything is connected to the internet, uh, through the Internet of Things, right? You put a little Wi-Fi chip on everything, and you have data being reported to the internet. So how you aggregate that data and learn from it, from the neural networks point of view, like how do you do modeling from that? I find it very, very interesting. Aggregate, the where AI meets data science. How do you, for I'll give you an example. The first project I did, I'll put it on my screen. I did a Kickstarter called the Smart Citizen with a few other people. And right, this was again back in 2014. It was just before ESP8266 and things were so easily connected to the internet. It was a weather monitoring station. So the thought always was, well, if you want to look at the temperature of a city, if you go on something like weather.com and you look up the forecast for your city, this requires a very expensive sensor, and it's somewhere in your city, it's not right in your house, right? But it's very precise. It's a multi tens of thousands of dollars sensor that is super precise, and it tells you exactly the temperature. And some smart people have done some modeling to know how the temperature in your entire city is, but it's very, very expensive. So the idea is, if we have a whole bunch of distributed cheaper sensors, like little temperature sensors like this guy, SHT31, but we have a whole bunch of them, right? Can we make good, AI, to use the term loosely, but can we use some deep learning tools to make sure that we get more accurate data as we have just more widely distributed set of sensors? So that's always been interesting. But after that Kickstarter, I got out of the mindset of trying to do one product to hopefully attract the interest of investors and all that, and I just decided to be a hobby type of maker, where I make just small products or resell products that are again very things like this, right, that we all know and love. That this is a little board that I made that I put together for making a little arcade, just a 2-button arcade type of game to play Pong. So I love doing that. I found that I love doing that, so I just stopped with the idea of making things that are more complicated, and now I don't have time to look into it, but little by little I'm trying to find ways to carve a little more time and work on those fun applications that, like the ones you're mentioning. Mantronic, that runs in Finland. Nice. But your today's struggle are asynchronous task over Django server. Oh man. Yeah, Django and MQTT. That's those are fun times. I don't think I've ever fully used Django. Just a little bit too much. I want to say overhead for what I want to achieve usually. So I'll go for Flask. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's just a micro framework in Python as opposed to a full framework like Django. So yeah. You see Mantronic, Finland. I don't know if I got the name right, but I guess yeah, maybe it's if it's private source, it's still not available for uh, public view. But yeah, no, thanks for sharing what you're up to. So always fun to hear what other other people are doing in this big space of electronics and IoT. So actually, oh yeah, it's still private. Yeah, nice. Well, yeah, send me, ping me when you guys make it public or open source. I'd be interested in just having a quick look to know what it's about. And, let's see. And then one thing I always do in the chat, and I think at least you, Ali, already know this, but for other people coming in and out, I'll drop the link to our Discord server. And I never know how to find it on Discord, so I always cheat and do this. Thanks. This guy's done. Still gotta wait for that 2-pin terminal to come in the mail. Shit, this song is killing me. That's not delete from live. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, Ali, for sharing information and side projects. If you don't mind, I think Discord is the one that works the best. Uh, I'm pretty bad on email, and leaving comments on YouTube also works. But right now, honestly, there are so many that it takes me a while to get to them. So Discord, since it's more like chatting and it's more in real time, then I think that'd be my preferred way. And we can open up new channels on that Discord server where, you know, actually I can make it right now for side project discussion. You can always, if it's something between you and I, you can message me privately. But if it's something of general interest, kind of funny that people are starting to find. I haven't been advertising this outside of my live streams, and people are starting to find out. Oh, I see. You already jumped on Discord. I just saw your name. So yeah, if you can send me a direct message, or I'm going to make a new channel that says um, side projects. We can rename it later if needed, but yeah, let me make it right now. Create a text channel that I'll call side projects. And I will change it to YouTube. So, yep. And then I'm gonna ping you on here. Hey. Oh, actually, I didn't realize I'm doing it on screen so you all can see, and I forgot to switch it. I'm still I gotta remind myself. So yeah, hey, Ali, welcome. Yeah, welcome. And this will be, I guess I'll keep the general discussion to general. So feel free to share side projects here, Ali. Cool. Then give you your official welcome on the general channel. This is a good friend of mine, digital friend, so I'm gonna have some fun with it. I'm even gonna use an emoji. I'm like, no, that one. That reflects my sentiments for Brian finding out about the stream. This guy right here, unamused. If you're watching this, Brian, hey. Also, I was telling people, if you see the screen right now, this is the speeds that I was having last night as I tried. I partially succeeded at doing a stream last night, but man, my network was super bogged down. Like, look at this. I have 60 megabit per second speed, which is not great. It's not terrible either. And I was getting 1% of that speed. So I was like, what the heck? And this morning I was also getting similar speeds, very low, like 3 megabits per second. And I was ready to jump on a call with my internet service provider. It's like, what the heck, dude? And I don't know, I just started checking things around. I actually installed Wireshark to just snoop the network, see my sister-in-law is in the house, and then my wife is also working from home, so I was gonna try to like rate limit their connections or something, since I wanted to do a live stream and turn it off later. But it turns out that if I go on my, which I'm not gonna do, but if I go on this Wi-Fi network Bears, which is my 2.4 gigahertz network, it's completely bogged down. So should be the same speed for the internet, but there's, I live in it's a set of condos, I don't know, typical apartment type structure in the US. There isn't that many people around, but I guess everybody's on the internet with a shutdown because it was last night. It wasn't today's Saturday, but anyway, I was getting ridiculously low speeds, but I'm happy to report I won't do it because it shows my IP and stuff like that. But if I go on speed test, now I get even better speeds because I call the ISP or I put a request for the service to be improved and they just bump me up to the next. So hopefully the quality of the stream, the video is okay. I don't know about the content, but the video hopefully it's okay. I see. Mr. Brian Locke, welcome. I would do a standing ovation, but yeah, nice. Glad to see you lurking. Hope your day is going well. And I'm also waiting for your streams, my friend, once you get your fancy new lab set up. 10 minutes to verify, that's kind of weird. Yeah, they can be, I don't know about Discord, but yeah, some web applications can be a little bit annoying at times. But yeah, thanks for registering, Ali. Should I get that focus fixed for me? There we go. There. That's it. You're welcome, Ali. soldering part is done. Gonna go grab a box. I'll just put it up here temporarily until I finish it. Packing list. Shipping. All right. A little lazy. I don't want to disassemble anything. I only have 2 Raspberry Pi 4s laying around right now, so I don't want to disassemble anything. I'm just gonna reuse that to try to talk to my RealSense cam. Let me see. I'm pretty particular, so I'm just renaming using title case on my stream names that I know I'm gonna forget, so driving me a little crazy. Kind of interesting. I don't know why my streams started being limited in terms of monetization. I don't use curse words and whatever YouTube. Alright, can call that guy done. see if this anything is stupid. Well, there we go. This is what annoys me, that they never delete it. I guess I gotta hold down command or something like that. That's really annoying. Okay, this is the other one. Super annoying. I'm just gonna start with a blank image. That'll take about 10 minutes. Gonna bring my info down here. All right, Ali. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Oh man, 3:17. Yeah, get some good night's sleep. Thanks for stopping by, and yeah, we'll keep in touch. Thanks for joining the Discord. Have a good night. I think a lot of people are busy with their Saturdays and perhaps going to bed. So I'm gonna finish this stream here. I'll probably hop on a little bit later tonight. And yeah, I'm just waiting for the Raspberry Pi image to be flashed to the SD card. I'll play around with the RealSense Intel RealSense depth tracking camera, and hopefully I'll have some results when I resume the stream. So yeah, thanks for those of you who stopped by, and I'll be seeing you soon.